It's not just India and Indians which who are keeping a close eye on today's budget, which is, of course, the finance minister's seventh straight budget. It's also the rest of the world which is keeping a close eye on India and the budget, which will shortly be announced by the finance minister. To talk about how the world is looking at the India story, we have the legendary investor with us, Jim Rogers, joining us from Shanghai. Mr. Rogers, thank you for joining us.
I am delighted to be here. I'm a fan of India. I hope we're getting it right.
Right. And I mean, if you had the finance minister's here, what will you say to her? Because the budget speech of the finance minister will commence in about 40 minutes from now.
Well, what I worry about in India is that the budget will not be balanced, that you will run big deficits in the future. India is becoming a great country again, but if you run big deficits, you cannot do it.
What's the way out? Because finance minister has her job cut out. There are plenty of things that she has to balance. So this is going to be a tight rope walk for her.
Well, India, for a few years now, has been running deficits. You're running up debt. India before was not a country with debt. Now you're getting debt again. And it's going to be difficult for you to be the great country you should be if you do it. You know, America ran up huge debt and now it has a problem. If India does that, you will have a problem.
Right. But looking at the current account deficit versus the GDP, would you say India's deficit is already on the higher side?
Well, I am of a school where any deficit is on the high side, and India's deficit has been running for more than 1 year. So yes, I know Indian politicians will say, "Don't worry, it's not too much." As an outsider, I'm saying if you don't stop the debt now, it will get worse.
All right. Now, in terms of policies, if there are certain things, I mean, you're long on the Indian story for sure, but the Indian markets and anybody who knows your investment strategies knows that you don't like to buy at highs. And Indian markets indices are trading at all-time highs, and they've been making new highs rather frequently in the recent past. So are you also long in the Indian market? And if not, perhaps is it the time for you to change your perhaps strategy, buy high and perhaps sell higher?
Well, India has done a brilliant job, as you know, in the last few weeks or months, and things are great in India. No, that's not going to change my investment approach. I don't like to buy things making new highs. I prefer to buy low and sell high. I think that there will probably be opportunities in the future when the Indian market will go down. And if that happens, I will buy India.
Right. And which sectors are you excited about?
Well, tell me what's going to go down the most. I don't know. If agriculture goes down in India, it'll be very exciting. Travel, tourism, there's some parts of the Indian economy that could be very, very exciting if the shares go down.
Right. And one thing which I wanted to ask you, of course, about your partner back from quantum days, George Soros. I mean, he's not exactly a fan of the Modi government, but you've been long as far as the India story is concerned.
But so I haven't seen Soros in 45 years.
Right.
You might as
I'm
well
sorry, I
ask me
couldn't help
about my
but bring
first.
that up.
I've had no contact with Soros for 45 years.
Right. And that perhaps shows in the different approaches that you have. But that said, in your portfolio, if one were to sort of, take a sneak peek, what will one find? Because gold is also trading at, all-time high prices.
I own gold. If I were buying gold or silver today, I would buy silver. Silver's down, gold is not. I own both. I would be buying silver and not gold. But if gold goes down, I will buy more gold.
All right. And you invest, of course, globally. But if somebody as an investor wants to invest in a market, the US is at all-time highs. Japan is also overbought, as is the case with India. So where would you advise for people to invest? Where is that opportunity to buy low and perhaps sell higher?
Extremely good insight. Nearly all markets are very strong. China is the only market that's down. I am looking at China. I haven't bought anything recently, haven't sold anything, but China is the only market that's depressed that I know of in most of the world.
Right. And what do you think about the China plus one story? Because the world has definitely started diversifying away from China and the impact of that on the Indian economy.
Well, yes, China had got hit with a virus. China got hit with many problems. And so many people are giving up or moving away from China. I like to find things that are depressed. So for me, I'm glad that China's depressed because it might be an opportunity for me. I am looking in China. I have not bought anything recently, but I am looking because it's depressed.
Right. And of course, when it comes to politicians, when it comes to the geopolitics of things, India has often been in several spheres pitted against China. When it comes to manufacturing, do you think India in the years to come, based on what has happened so far, whether it is the PLI schemes and the other initiatives like Make in India that the Modi government has taken, do you think India can match, if not the China story, then the Vietnam story? I think we have